Here are the 4 most common. And we don't labor over this because we're going to open some questions. But each and every one of these are deadly, connected to cancers, connected to neurological disorders. Matter of fact, the first Gulf War syndrome we think was from aspartame poisoning. You know, that all these wars are planned. They get you all excited, and they come out and say, well, we just decided 2 minutes ago to have a war. They planned that war for months, if not years. And so they actually dumped hundreds of thousands of cans of soda into the desert when it was 100 degrees, 110 degrees, and they sat there for 2 months before the European and American boys showed up. And what we know about aspartame, it doesn't have to be really hot. It gets into the upper 80s, and it turns into a poison, a neurological toxin. And so that's what we think most Gulf War syndrome, the original Gulf War syndrome, came from. Now, there's other things too. They were getting inoculations and vaccines for things that they may get, but the overwhelming consensus from the research scientists that I've gotten to talk to out of the military over the decades is that's the #1 cause of this. So let's give this group a hand because they've conned you on this, and it's all deadly poison. How many of you ever had any of these to eat? All of us. Even if you don't know you had it, you probably had it. So aspartame, I'll just touch on this one because we could really get you disappointed and frightened about this. Aspartame was actually in the military arsenal. And during the President Reagan administration, he had a colleague called Reagan. Remember Reagan? I think they were trying to confuse us. But Reagan, in his last term as president, Reagan, was talked to by the industry, chemical industry, and they said, we want you to write a ruling out of the White House that you'll liberate aspartame. And he said, why? And he said, well, we've done these diligent studies, and they always do that. These poor politicians, you know, they're not all completely corrupt all of the time, just most of the time. But some of them, you know, they don't have time, and they don't have time to read. I've talked to congressmen, senators, etc. They've all said to me, when we sign a bill, we cross our finger and hope our aides and assistants were correct on the issues. How can you read a 10,000 page bill or a 1,000-page bill? It's an impossibility. You're seeing several of these. And so what they did is they overwhelmed Reagan with this information, said it's perfectly safe, it's no problem, so liberate it. And the Reagan administration liberated this out of the Pentagon's arsenal. And then it was used by the soft drink industry. Listen closely to this.
Aspartame is a common artificial sweetener found in over 6,000 products worldwide, especially in diet soda products. It is the most consumed artificial sweetener in the United States. With the power of slick marketing, the public has been led to believe that aspartame is safer and healthier than regular sugar. But nothing could be further from the truth. Aspartame accounts for 75% of adverse reactions to food additives reported to the FDA. The most common reaction is a headache or migraine, but many reactions are very serious, including seizures and death. Aspartame has also been linked to depression and increased weight, yet these products continue to be marketed as healthy options that support calorie restriction.
Now I want to repeat something that little clip told you, to show you how unethical we've become in our governments today. That the Food and Drug Administration, 75% of the allergic reactions reported in this country alone, we're not talking about France or Germany or Denmark or Sweden, this country alone, 75% of the people that write or go to their doctors or call the United States government, Food and Drug Administration, it's because of the consumption of aspartame. You also notice they said it causes allergies, but it also may cause something called DEATH. You ever hear of that before? We're all going to eventually get there. Now, something that has a potential to kill one person, wouldn't you think that should be suspect? Forget dozens or hundreds or thousands of people over the years that this may be used. So you as citizens of the world literally have to get up and start to demand some honor, some ethics, some truth. If you don't do that, it will never be done. And by the way, you heard what my colleague Rudy said, that down in Brazil, because the people got up, they stopped a major corrupt plant from being in their region of the world. We've seen it in France with the bees, where they outlawed the parasite and the pesticide that was causing the kill-off of bees there. And when you start to look at this, you have a voice still. But if you don't use it, it's going to go away.